Hey yo, what is going on, you guys? You guys know what we're doing today. You guys know what we are reviewing today. It's right down there, and I'm gonna say it anyways. Today we are reviewing Fallout 4. But before we get into the review, I want to just say that I wanted to make this review a whole lot more elaborate. I wanted to bring in multiple people, actually get some back and forth conversations going, some slight arguments and stuff like that. Unfortunately, my friends weren't able to come over and shoot the video, so we're gonna have to make do. So, let's go ahead. Let's roll the intro.
Hi, I'm Albert.
Hi, I'm Danny.
Hi, I'm Jazz.
Hi, I'm Toby.
Welcome to Gamer State.
Fallout 4, guys. Holy crap. The hype around this game was like surreal. There was so much hype. I saw freaking Bill Nye promoting it. I saw a lot of people promoting this game, and there was a little bit of an argument going on between everybody here at Gamerstake, and my friends were saying that this game will probably get Game of the Year, will win it. Obviously, we were talking about what other games would it be going up against, and I actually have them right here. So obviously we got Fallout 4 right here. Let me get out of frame for a second. And the two games it'd be going up against, which is The Phantom Pain and The Witcher. Make your pick, guys. Alright, so enough about those two games. Let's talk about this game itself. Now, there are some good things and there are some bad things. So let's just go ahead and talk about the bad things. Just get it out of the way right now. I gotta say, right off the bat, comparing it to those two games, and I know people are gonna be probably saying, why are you comparing it to those two games? The reason why I am is because those two games are also in contention, at least from what everyone's been saying, for Game of the Year. So it seems almost appropriate to put them up against those two. What those two games had, and what this game I think does not have, is a really good, compelling story. To me, I feel like the way it starts off is pretty, it's pretty good, I guess. But the way it just follows through, it doesn't seem really good to me. Pretty much the whole premise of the story, without giving it too much away, is depending on what gender you choose between a male or a female, you then are the sole survivor of Vault 111, and then you find out, or you witness your son being kidnapped and your significant other obviously being killed. After that, it is pretty much your sole mission to find your son. I understand that, I don't know, I feel like it's a very cheap move to go. I think there were so many other ways they could have gone with this, but I feel like this is just such a cheap and I guess safe way to go. It doesn't make it any less good, because the main story itself is very lackluster. It doesn't have a whole lot behind it, and you're probably going to be saying maybe the side stories make up for that. And I will say that probably some of them do, but talking about one of the side stories is you obviously get to choose what groups you get to belong to. And I'm just going to go through them really quick. The very first one you meet is the Minutemen, the Brotherhood of Steel, and later on in the games you end up coming across the Pillars, the Railroad, and of course the last one is the Institute. So obviously you get to make your pick. You can obviously be a part of all of them if you wanted to. But with that being said, I have to give a lot of complaint to this, is that the Minuteman storyline I felt was really, really repetitive. It's the same shit over and over again. I'm gonna pretty much sum it up for you guys. It's go talk to these settlers over here, go deal with the raider problem over there, and then go back to them, tell them that it's all good, and then go back to the main settlement, and then that's pretty much the end of your mission. It's the same thing. It's recycled over and over and over again, other than you do get to go to different places now and again, but it's the same thing though. The Railroad story, I didn't feel like it was very, very interesting. I felt like it was just The Pillars, I didn't get a chance to join the Pillars because there was something I had to do prior to becoming the Pillar that I did not like doing. I think I'm just going to tell you guys anyways. I had to pretty much give up everything I had to be part of the Pillars, and I felt that was just insane, crazy. I was not going to give up my guns, my power armor, any damn thing I got throughout the game. So I didn't join that group. I ended up putting a bullet in the leader's head. But then the Brotherhood of Steel was by far the best side mission, the best side missions, the best story. I even felt like it was better than the main missions, the main story throughout the game. With that being said, it was like only one of them that was really good. Like I said, it was the Brotherhood of Steel. Everything else did not seem very good. And even towards the end of the game, I will give it props for if you guys have finished the game or have gotten really close to the end where you're already inside the Institute, then you guys know what I'm talking about. That part of the story was really good. I felt that was probably the best part of it, but even after that, I felt like it was just, okay, the magic's gone now. It's back to the rest, how the rest of the story was. Let's talk about the combat system itself. I know there was a lot of people, a lot of my friends saying that the combat system was going to be really good. I have to say the opposite of that. I don't think that the combat system was too good. I felt like it was like a stop and go, stop and go, stop and go. Just because you have to either, okay, you gotta stop and you gotta heal yourself, or you gotta switch between another weapon. By all means, I've seen other combat systems where you can switch between weapons, get health far more smoothly than this one was. Like I said, it was stop and then continue fighting. With that being said, I think the wave of enemies that you fight and the different types of enemies that you fight throughout the game are by far very good. You don't really see the same model over and over again. I feel like there are like at least a dozen different models that you face throughout the game. But now I think that's all I have to really complain about. There are some graphical deficiencies. Some bugs which are supposed to be expected of this game. It's a big game. There are going to be bugs in it. So now let's talk about what was actually good about the game. Like I said before, the Brotherhood of Steel was by far the best side missions and side story. The enemies were by far also really good. The world, it's very good. The weapons I felt were amazing, even though in the beginning of the game you start off with some rinky-dink weapons that anybody can put together. But throughout the game, I think it got really good, and even some of the Easter eggs that you find in the game, I felt that was really nice. Those were nice touches, as well as the power armor. I felt was really cool. The different types of power armor between the T45, the T60, the T51, and of course the XO1 power armor. Those are really cool. My favorite obviously being the XO1, the most powerful, the most I think most reliable, most sturdy. Pretty much just the best overall looking one in the game is that one. Now I want to talk about the characters themselves. Some characters were pretty good, and there are others that also kind of just fell apart. I'm not going to go through all. I'm just going to kind of just touch on mostly the main ones. So Paladin Dance, pretty much. I felt like he was a really good character. I'm going to put his picture probably up here, as well as Piper over here. She was also really good. I felt like if you decide to romance Piper, I felt like her love for you is a little bit more organic, and it feels more real compared to everybody else. Some other gripes that I had about this game, the voice acting, I felt like it was a bit flat. I felt like they didn't try as hard in the voice acting. I also felt like some of the animations weren't as good as I thought they would be. Especially if you guys are a stickler for animations where like the lip syncing is not like obviously in sync, you're gonna have some gripes about that, and you're gonna notice it because there are moments in the game where you can tell that the voice acting and the lip syncing are not together. But also, some of the characters in the game are not as good as other ones. I felt like some of them were just like pass-throughs. You can completely forget about them. But other ones were pretty interesting. And now, I guess finally trying to wrap this whole thing up. Like I said, guys, this game, it's still pretty good. It has a lot of things going for it. But if you're thinking that this game was just going to be all that and a bag of chips, it's really not. Especially if you guys really want a really compelling story, it's not here. There are the Brotherhood of Steel. If you guys have not played through it, I highly recommend you try sticking with that group as far as you can, because I feel like their missions are probably better and you get better stuff. and it's a better story than the rest of the game, unfortunately. Other than that, let's finally wrap this whole video up, and let's finally give this game a rating. So, with all that being said, comparing it to the other two, not to mention Bethesda did create this game. I never played Fallout 3, but I did play Skyrim, and I felt Skyrim was far better than this game. So I'm gonna have to give this game an 8 out of 10. It's still pretty good. I was really thinking I was gonna give it a 7, but I think it deserves that 8 for pretty much everything else, minus the story, minus the characters, minus the combat system and stuff and things like that. But other than that, it's still a really good game, guys. I highly recommend you still go check it out. I think it's still a pretty good game. And that's pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. By all means, if you agree with what I've said about this game, by all means, hit that like button, share this video on freaking Facebook, Twitter. I have no clue where else you would share this video to. Send it to your friends, text it, email it, I don't know. And if you thought we were completely wrong, if you thought this video completely sucked, it's okay, because there's a dislike button right there for you to press. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.